Moses, a three-pointer, looking to continue a career day, and she knocks it down.
Gets the fast break layup and one.
From the studios of 95.7 The Spin.
Who lays it up and in through the contact of Baylor. What a finish from Emma DeHart. Wasn't even looking at the basket when she threw it up.
Back-to-back three-pointers off back-to-back possessions for the Screaming Eagles.
It's the Stein Show with USI women's basketball head coach Rick Stein.
Lays it up and in, Addie Blackwell, and one.
Welcome to another edition of the Stein Show, the coach's show with USI head women's basketball coach Rick Stein. I'm Nathaniel Barbie, the host, and in this episode we're going to talk about USI's road sweep against Lewis and Illinois-Springfield. USI got two big road wins in the GLVC. First was against Lewis last Thursday, and then Illinois-Springfield most recently last Saturday. We're going to talk about both of those big victories, and then we're going to talk about USI's next three home games against Indianapolis, Quincy, and Truman State. We're going to get in depth with all three of those games. I'm going to talk to Coach Stein about it, and we're going to start the Stein Show right away. Welcome once again, Coach Stein. We're going to talk a little bit about both of your big road victories over two top opponents in the GLVC first. Let's go over with Lewis. It was a big 64-59 win, and most importantly, it was a sweep, a season sweep against the Flyers. What do you have to say about that game overall?
It was certainly going into it, we're wondering, what's it going to look like? How are we going to play? We hadn't played in so long. Obviously, our last game was versus Truman State on the road on January 3rd. We had obviously been in some quarantine scenarios and just really, it had been a long time since we played a basketball game, since we put the uniforms on. So, certainly I felt like our prep, those few days before was good. But again, until you get uniforms on and see how we're going to flow and, how we're going to, obviously get back to playing, USI basketball in a game scenario, just didn't really know what it was going to look like. I thought we really got off to a good start. I think, and that's been a real focus of ours, even in practices, those few practices that we actually had up to that Lewis game, was how can we get off to a better start in the game? And I think we definitely did that. I thought we set the tone really on both ends of the court and against a very good Lewis team who is playing very good basketball. And again, to go on the road there and get a W, it's such a tough place to play. It's a long road trip for us and a tough scenario that way anyway. And to come off that quarantine, I'm really proud of our team, how we handled this road trip. And obviously it started with Lewis and getting that good win there and then finish up with Illinois-Springfield. Just a really good road sweep.
And it got close in the end of that Lewis game. It seemed like Lewis was trying to fight at every single moment they could possibly get to. What do you have to say about the way your team tried finishing the ball game?
Well, obviously you got to, in this league, you have to finish. Nobody's just going to go away. It doesn't matter. And we've seen that playing teams. We've had teams down pretty good and they keep fighting. It doesn't matter. Obviously, I think we got a 10 or 11 point lead there at Lewis, but they shoot the ball so well, and of course they pressure you. They force you into some things that you don't want to do. I certainly thought that we finished the game off. We made a couple big shots and a couple big plays, and then got a defensive stop or two when we needed it. Again, in our league in the GLVC, there you have to finish it. Nobody's just gonna there's no give in, and especially in this East Division, when you're playing teams like Lewis, playing teams like Springfield, it's going to be a 40-minute basketball game. You got to be ready to play every minute of it, and certainly thought that we topped it off in the right way, obviously in both, but especially at Lewis.
And now your team's offense did very well against the Flyers, shot 44% from the field, 40% from three, and then 80% from the free throw line. What do you have to say about your offense?
Well, it's something that we have been focusing in on, with our actions, our breakdown work. We're doing some breakdown work in practices, trying to get the most out of certain actions that we run in our offense. Obviously, so many of the key points that make our offense go certainly is just taking care of the ball. Limiting turnovers, and I think that as we've kind of moved into the season here, that's certainly has been a mainstay for us. We've seen other teams make runs when we're not taking care of the basketball. So again, and Lewis heats you up. They trap you everywhere and for 40 minutes. And when we started to take care of the ball a little bit better, obviously I thought we ran offense pretty well. We've really worked hard on some breakdown work, trying to get more things out of our actions, not just getting through offense, but how can we get more opportunities in some of the things that we like to do in offense. And I think it's definitely improved since Christmas, and it's gotten better, and hopefully it continues to get better as we keep moving forward, this week.
And on the defensive end, you forced 20 turnovers, if I am correct, and got 25 points off those 20 turnovers. What do you have to say about the transition defense into offense against Lewis?
Yeah, I think we're at our best when we're doing that. Obviously, when we're forcing, when we're making the other team uncomfortable, when we're forcing deflections and some knockaways, some steals, when we're rebounding the ball, and then we can rebound a run, not taking it out of the net, obviously, every time. I definitely think that's when we're at our best, turning defense into offense, and I think we definitely did some of that at Lewis. And again, one of the things our bench production again, it was just fantastic. The whole weekend, we're getting great minutes out of our entire team, basically. I mean, our bench has been deeper than everybody else's that we've played, I think, so far, and they're not minute fillers, they're producers, and that production has been huge for us too. So I think what you can do is try to you wear on teams a little bit, you can wear them out a little bit, and that's that with Lewis. It's hard to do because they play so many players too. It's one of those, but certainly I thought our bench was a definite factor, not only against Lewis but this whole weekend.
Even though your defense did force 20 turnovers, your offense threw the ball away 24 different times. What do you have to say about the turnovers in that game?
Yeah, I didn't think we were probably as sharp as we needed to be. We obviously hadn't played a game in about 3 weeks, and it kind of looked that way. We were a little sloppy with the ball, but you got to credit Lewis. That's how they play. I mean, they're forcing that many a game. They're trapping everywhere on the floor, and they're making you make decisions. We had some passes we probably needed to catch, and some passes we probably just didn't need to throw. But at the same time, it was kind of that kind of game. They had 20 turnovers, we had 24. You had two teams that really like to heat each other up and going at it, and it was just kind of the nature of the game itself. But again, obviously, I think our rhythm is one of those things that like I said, I didn't know what it was going to look like as far as game rhythm goes, and I certainly think that as that game wore on and this weekend kind of wore on, I certainly think that our feel for the game and how we wanted to play definitely showed up more, and obviously helped us get 2 W's.
And looking at some of the individual performances from some of your players, first off, Hannah Haythcock, 15 points, had 3 rebounds. All 3 of those rebounds came on the offensive end. What do you have to say about Hannah's performance for the offense?
Well, yeah, Hannah was really good all weekend. Obviously, she was getting touches and working hard for them. I thought we were a lot better in finding her in the high-low. We found her on ball swings and some lob stuff in there, and she really finished well. I don't know what her shooting percentage was for the weekend, but it was very good. And I think her timing was good, and she just was catching in a comfort zone and then just made the next easy play. She's got obviously her back to the basket moves down there are pretty darn good, and she can really make plays that way. But you can't mention her play without mentioning that big 3 she made in the quarter too against Lewis at a critical time. Man, we needed a bucket there, and she bangs a 3 in the deep corner to really give us momentum back a little bit. She hit a big pull-up jumper in the paint against Springfield on Saturday. Just again, we were kind of stagnant. We needed a basket. And that's one of the things that Hannah makes tough shots, and you saw that all weekend. She made tough plays and tough shots, and certainly made some baskets at critical times in the game, to help us get 2 good wins.
Now let's talk about Emma DeHart. It seems like every time we get on the show, Emma's got double-digit points, and then she's got something that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. This time it's 4 charges taken against Lewis, and it just seems like it's consistent that we're talking about the way that Emma plays on the floor all the time. What do you have to say about the game against Lewis?
Well, obviously, I think those four charges set the tone for us and how we were going to play defensively. Her leadership is mandatory, for us and how we play, and she sets the tone out there. Again, she's, when you're senior, your leader, you're an all-league player is the one who's stepping up and taking 4 charges on her own in one game. I mean, it's not like our team. Okay, when your team gets 4 charges taken, that's great. I love those days too. But when one player can take 4, certainly it just shows the type of all-around player she is. She helps us win even if she's not making a basket. She defends, she rebounds. She's such a good leader and not afraid to do any of the toughness, not make all those toughness plays that it takes to win a game. And I think you're seeing that. You didn't just see it this week. You're seeing that night in and night out, from Emma, and that's what she brings to the table every day.
And Addie Blackwell, 10 points, 4 assists. It really looked like she was almost 100% since that left ankle sprain she had about a couple months ago.
I think she's really starting to get her legs under her a little bit and getting her game back a little bit. Obviously, that high ankle sprain that she had there really, it knocked her out. The last time, I'm trying to think, she played just a few minutes against Indianapolis right before Christmas, but she wasn't even close to, she was maybe 70%, maybe. We came back and, got that Truman State game, and I thought that she, was just really, just starting to get her wind back and her legs back. And I thought you saw, Addie pretty much getting back to her normal self when it comes to that ankle and that this weekend, and huge minutes. She played great. Obviously, again, Lewis is heating us up from start to finish, and she's handling the ball a lot of that time against that pressure. I thought she did a really good job with Lewis and in the entire weekend.
And you talked about your bench quite a bit, saying how much depth you have on the bench. But how about Tara Roby against Lewis? 12 points coming off the bench. What do you have to say about her performance coming up as more of a 6th woman, 7th woman off the bench?
Well, yeah, Tara's been great. She has really played consistent basketball for us all year so far, and she's making plays in a lot of different ways, and she's offensively and defensively, consistency is a big word for her right now, and that's something that she, we know every day she's going to give us numbers and production. She's good. She plays so hard. She can guard everywhere on the court. A lot of things that she does kind of goes unnoticed because they're little things, deflections or how she's, defending she can defend a post player. She can defend a point guard. And she's done some of that throughout the year so far, but her consistent play is definitely a huge factor for us. And again, when you talk about production, in our bench production, she's obviously been a big part of how we're producing off the bench. And she's playing great basketball right now.
And Lewis is a high offensive team. They like to push the ball, they like to score, and they like to shoot. You held the Flyers to under 60 points. What do you have to say about the defense?
You know what? It's and that's hard to do. Really, we've done it. We did it twice with Lewis, held them under 60 2 times. And again, this is a basketball team that's used to, going for 72, 73 points a game, and they can put up a big number. So obviously, major factor in us winning the game, at Lewis, obviously holding them to a low number, and certainly our team defense, showed up, and hopefully we can keep defending and keep getting ourselves a chance to win basketball games. Again, to hold Lewis to that number at Lewis I thought that was a tough task, and certainly proud of our team for doing it.
Now let's look over to your other road victory against Illinois-Springfield. Again, another tough atmosphere to try a win at. Defeated the Prairie Stars 77-71. Another season sweep of a GLBC opponent. What do you have to say about the win against Illinois-Springfield.
They're a really good team, and they had just split with Lewis. Just the week before, and boy, they have two guards that can really make baskets. Obviously, we saw number one for them, Ladowski. She can make baskets in a lot of different ways. Obviously, she parked it at that free throw line for a lot of the game too, and drew a lot of fouls, and basically kept our defense kind of off balance. I thought we were a little silly with the ball early in that game, a little flippy, and we'd get a rebound and throw it right back to them. And, that happened a couple different times. And we need to focus in. We need to sharpen up. And I certainly thought we did that in that second half. And boy, you talk about a physical team. I mean, they play that, pack line defense, and they just get real physical, and they body up everywhere, and they did. They did from start to finish. I thought we handled it pretty well though, and because we knew it was coming. I thought our mindset was, we're going to get, it's going to be physical play for 40 minutes, so we got to make sure we're matching that, know that it's coming, and I think that second half we kind of. Our motor got going just a little bit, and certainly made some big plays down the stretch, and to find another good road victory. It's funny because that was our first 2-game road trip. We played at Indianapolis on December 20th, and then we played at Truman State. We were supposed to play at Quincy then, but we didn't make it to Quincy. So we had 2 road games, but they were singles basically. So this was our first actual go where we had, we were on the road for 2 games, and it's hard. It's not easy, man. That road trip is hard. You play on a Thursday evening, then you turn around and play 1:00 on the road on a Saturday. The turnaround's so fast. And you're playing 2 really good teams, and obviously everybody's trying to beat Southern Indiana, So yeah, I just really proud of our team, how we bounce back after a good win, and you get another good one. You don't rest on one and say, well, we'll just see what happens. We had to fight for everything we got on Saturday as far as the W goes, and I'm just real proud of our team, how we bounced back and got 2 on the road.
Allowed 71 points. It's the second most allowed points this season from your defense. What do you have to say overall from the defense? Of course, Illinois-Springfield is a great opponent overall, but what do you have to say about the defense allowing 71 points?
Well, yeah, again, there was a lot of possessions. It was just kind of that game, and of course, one kid got 30 of them. So we certainly didn't stop her the way we wanted to, and our team defense kind of let us down there. But again, it was a possession game. Obviously, we got up in the high 70s, and that's something that generally, that's above our scoring average too. It's just kind of that way, and the way the game flowed. But again, I thought we bailed them out just a little bit too much. We gave them too many free throws. I thought we defended pretty well, except for you can't guard 23 free throws, and I think that number should have been about 10 less. We needed to make it 10 less. We needed to guard smarter and not bail out at the basket. I think we just did that a little bit too much. So again, heck, if you give up 71, you better get 72, and we ended up with 77. So, you find a way to win, and certainly, the way that game went, we got a good number offensively, and again got a good road sweep.
34 points in the paint on the offensive end. What do you have to say about your forwards and down low players against Illinois-Springfield?
Well, obviously the paint's something we want to own. That's a place we got to get, and we got to get it done in there. Obviously, and that's not just post play. That's attacking the basket. That's getting to the rim. You even saw it, late in the game. I think we were up 2, and we came out of timeout. We gave Emma DeHart the ball at the elbow, and she attacks the rim and gets to the free throw line. And that's a play made in the paint that we got to have. And obviously she knocks a couple down, and just, those are toppers. Those get you good road wins if you could do that. The free throw line for us, 21 to 24. We go 87.5%. On the year we were shooting 68, 69%. It's something we've challenged our team, and we've talked about. We got to get our free throw percentage up, and certainly showed up in a really good way for us to get that road win at Springfield.
Shot 43% from downtown, a great percentage. It's the third straight game where your team has shot over 40% from three. What do you have to say about your team's ability to be able to shoot a three-point shot and be able to make it consistently?
Yeah, well, obviously, the inside-out attack is huge. We want to own the paint, but to do that, you're going to have to knock down open shots, and we certainly have players that can do that. And we go 6 of 14, against Springfield, and we even had a few that I thought, that looked like they were down, and they just didn't go down. Obviously, Ashley Hunter, she had a really good game. She knocked down 4 of those for us right there. And it's one of the things we've talked to Ashley about is really, every time you catch the ball, get into that triple threat position. I think she's, missed opportunities to maybe make a play because she's not catching ready. And I think that's what you saw with her on Saturday. She's really catching ready, and she was more triple threat. And because of it, obviously, I think she made a few more plays. She was open for a few more shots, and obviously, she knocked it down. She's a player that's in here in this arena as much or more than anybody. I mean, she gets in, she gets shots, she works on her game all the time, and obviously, it's paying off. She's playing good basketball. It certainly paid off against Springfield, knocking down 4 of those threes, and we needed every single one of them, to get the win.
Ashley Hunter put up season high 15 points. And another player we also have to highlight, Hannah Haithcock, with back-to-back double-digit scoring games. This time it was a season high 18 points. Again, what did you think about Hannah's performance against Illinois-Springfield?
Again, that consistent play. She started out the season, those first few games, and really came out and played well. One of the things that Hannah's found too is she's in the scouting report. I mean, people know who she is, and she is at the top of the list. But teams are trying to stop her. They're doubling down, they're tripling down. I mean, we've seen teams wrap 3 people around her. But I think that she's kind of understanding the nature of how teams are defending now and how they're trying to slow her down or stop her from even getting a touch. She's working harder. I think she's working harder and smarter on the offensive end. And one of the things that you gotta understand too is how important our perimeter play is in feeding the post down there and how they can deliver. Man, our guards and our bigs, that high-low action, boy, I don't know. I think she had 3 or 4 high-low catches in the game with Springfield, and that's a tough catch. That's a tough pass. But we work on it. Those are things that certainly we work on a lot, and I think we're definitely better at it right now than we were before Christmas. And again, you got to have somebody that's going to finish it off, and Hannah's a good finisher down there, and certainly showed that on the entire weekend. Again, I don't know what her shooting percentage was for the weekend, but it was very good, and again, she's doing it with a lot of bodies on her down there, and certainly had a great week on the road, and hopefully she can keep it going coming back home this week.
Emma DeHart had 4 points. Not a great shooting performance from Emma, but she did have the very clutch game-deciding free throws at the end, as you mentioned. Drove to the basket, drew the foul, and then made both of her free throws. But with those free throws, she actually moved up to 30th in all-time scoring, and she's just 7 points away from passing one of her former teammates. But what do you have to say about Emma's 4 years here at USI?
Well, I'm glad they're still going. I can say that. I'm glad these years aren't over yet. Obviously, her consistent play. She's voted captain her sophomore, junior, and senior year. It really shows her leadership and how she shows up every day to go to work. Again, you talk about a player that's on everybody's scout. On everybody's scouting report, Emma is that. And I thought Springfield did a good job of kind of getting her out of her comfort zone a little bit and I thought Emma had times where she squared, and she needs to square to score. She needs to really catch to look at the basket where she caught, and a lot of times to drive, and they were taking that away. They knew that they didn't want her to get into the paint, and obviously not only to make a play but also to draw fouls and stuff like that too. But for me, when we called that timeout late, I wasn't even sure how many points Emma had or didn't have, but and it didn't matter because I was going to put the ball in her hands and get her in a place where she could make a play going to the basket, and she certainly did that late in that game. Got to the free throw line, knocks down a couple big free throws for us, and again kind of like you said, seals the victory in its own way. So again She helps our basketball team in so many other ways than just scoring points. There's so many things that she brings to the table, and again, a credit to her and her work ethic and how she's continued to just grow as a player every single year she's been here. She's better every single year, and that's hard to do. A lot of players don't do that. I mean, a lot of them come in good and stay good or whatever, but this is a player that works at her game and has improved every single year she's been here, and obviously it's showing up even in record books, and not surprising.
After those two big victories on the road, your team moves up to 8-1 and sitting in second in the GLVC point rating system. And as of now, and probably will change at the end of the day today on Monday, but 14th in the country. What do you have to say about all of those numbers, especially this far, barely halfway into the season?
Yeah, what all we can do is just take care of ourselves. That's one of the things we talk about with our team all the time. We take care of ourselves. The rest of the league will take care of itself. We went on the road, got 2 good road wins. Every time, when you talk about point standings and stuff like that, those road victories really can show up and come into play. I mean, and of course, when you beat a team that's above 500 on the road or a team that's below 500, whatever it is, you're going to get, more points when you're beating good teams on the roads. And that Springfield team is 5-6 right now. And it wouldn't surprise me if that team doesn't end up above 500. I mean, so that win on the road could even help us more down the stretch if that team continues to win basketball games. So, again, every day we show up, we got to take care of us, and the rest of the standings will take care of itself. Obviously, it feels good. We're leading the East, and the closest team to us has 5 losses, and we have 1. So obviously not something you rest on, but you certainly like to be in that position. National ranking stuff, I don't know. Those are things that are certainly out of our control, and all we can do is just keep trying to win basketball games. We don't rest on a ranking, and it's not making us do anything different. We're just trying to get right now. We're just trying to get ready for Indianapolis, and they're the next one on the schedule, and we got a busy schedule ahead, and we're trying to take it one game at a time.
Very busy next week. This whole week, you got 4 games in a 7-day period, and let's look up at Indianapolis. This is a team that took you down to the wire and actually defeated you guys out at Nickerson Hall in Indianapolis. Are you looking for some sort of revenge here as they travel to Screaming Eagles Arena tomorrow?
Well, I don't know if it's revenge, but we're looking for a win. That's for dang sure. Obviously that game is that's a long time ago. It was right before Christmas. They played a good basketball game and beat us. And again, anytime you're on the road in this league, you got to be 10 to 12 to 15 points better, and we just weren't that night. We just weren't. We had a lead late and just couldn't sustain it, and they made some more plays down the stretch than we made. Obviously, again, another East Division opponent, a team that's it's a good basketball team. We've seen them. Obviously, they've already beaten us. And it's a basketball team that's going to get real. They're real physical, man. They played us really physical in the paint over there, and really got into I thought they got into our legs a little bit because of the physical play, and we're going to have to be a little bit tougher, a little bit stronger than we were obviously at their place, and we got to be a little bit smarter. We didn't. I don't think we played smart in that game on either end of the court. We missed opportunities. offensively that I think we're just better at right now. We've worked on it, but defensively, we certainly got to find their shooters a little bit better. Taylor Drury for them. She made some big shots, knocked down a lot of them against us, and again, quite a few were at the end of that shot clock. Man, they made some tough shots at their place, but we got to finish it. That's what you got to do. You got to play all that whole 30 seconds of defense, and I just didn't think we did that at their place, and obviously, they got a good win, and we came home not feeling very good. So, obviously it's about protecting our home court. We're coming back to the arena. Nothing's a given. We're going to have to fight for it, and certainly want to keep this home streak of wins, alive and keep it going this week.
Now, Indy is a tough team to beat when you're at your home territory. It's weird to say that, especially in the GLVC, but this is a team that can really put on a show on the road. 4-2 in road games this season. However, USI is 5-0 in home games. Are you looking at this road? Are you looking at their road record? Their road record, couldn't get that out in any way, shape, or form.
Well, obviously, what it does is just shows you they're a good basketball team. When you can find ways to win on the road in this league, that tells you that they got a good club, and obviously they've won at some tough places. It's not like they're just winning. They're all league wins. Those 4 wins they're not out of the league. They're all conference wins, which tells you they obviously have a good basketball team. But it's been a long time since we played here. It's been a long time since we played here in this arena. I mean, it's well before Christmas. I don't even know what the date was, but again, it's good to be coming back home. It's good to be back in the arena here, and we're certainly looking forward to lacing them up and getting on our home court for a few this week. We got to take it one day at a time, one game at a time. We're in a busy stretch of basketball, and there isn't one easy game in there. Obviously, how we prep, how we focus in on what's next is huge for us as coaches. We just got to make sure that we are focused in on today and not worried about what's happening tomorrow, the next day, or the next day. And that's kind of what we've had to be that way anyway because of so many changes. This is a makeup game with Indianapolis. It was one that got canceled or postponed. So, we've got a lot of that coming, and there might be more of that coming too. So one day at a time. Indy's next. They're coming to us, and obviously, we're hoping to continue a streak of good basketball and keep winning basketball games.
And for my final question, this is a great team overall, nationally ranked for the first time since 2017, looking at a top spot in the GLVC. It really looks like this team is fundamentally sounded overall. What do you have to say about this group specifically?
Well, I certainly like our bunch. Obviously, I've said it before. I'm super proud of our team and how they've handled so many changes and adversity and different things that didn't just start happening in the season. That started happening last spring, and obviously we didn't have this whole team together, when it all started. But shortly after we did. And it started with Zoom calls and all kinds of different ways to communicate with each other and build a basketball team. And certainly proud of our bunch and how we've handled, so many changes and different things that have come at us, and without making excuses and without, pointing fingers or anything along those lines. We've really stayed tight as a bunch and as a team. And I think it's helped us to get to, to the point we're at right now. Again, we were off for 2 weeks, and it's easy to just say, man, we come back and make excuses and say, man, we're just not going to be ready. And we didn't do that. Our basketball team didn't do that. Our players came with focus and the mindset of, hey man, we just take it one day at a time, and we're going to be ready when it's called the next day, So again, there's a lot of basketball left. We certainly, have a lot of games scheduled yet. We hope that we get to play all of them, and that know that we don't know yet. Every day we're being flexible, and we're trying to stay positive and be ready for what's coming next. And hopefully we'll be down in this arena right here tomorrow playing a basketball game at 5:15 versus Indianapolis, and looking to get another W here on our home floor.
Thank you, Coach, once again for taking time out of your day to talk to just some college student trying to make a living.
No, Nathaniel, I mean, I appreciate you, man. Obviously we've been doing this for a while, and good stuff, good questions, and hopefully we got a lot more basketball to talk about in these next few weeks.
Oh, without a doubt, Coach. And again, good luck on Tuesday and for the rest of the week. We'll keep in touch.
Appreciate it. Thanks.